Imagine owing the federal government nearly $300,000, watching your reality TV salary just poof, vanish overnight, having your brand new spouse arrested, and somehow that is like only the fourth messiest thing happening on your timeline today.
Honestly, it's a late Tuesday for these people.
Right. I am thoroughly convinced that celebrities do not sleep. They simply refuse to close their eyes. Because every single morning, without fail, the blogs wake up entirely unhinged.
Oh, completely unhinged.
It is exhausting, it is chaotic, and frankly, I am entirely here for it.
Snark Squad. Babes, welcome back.
Good morning, good evening, good night, good life.
Whenever you listen, babes, we are here.
We are so here, and let me tell you, Snark Squad, babes, we just finished our morning iced coffees, and the world finally feels balanced again.
It was touch and go for a minute.
The Earth was literally tilting off its axis this morning. But the ice has clanked, the caffeine has hit the bloodstream, and I am a functional human being once more. I am insisting, on the official record, that iced coffee is not just a beverage.
Oh boy, here we go.
It is an active personality trait.
Yeah.
It is the absolute cornerstone of my identity at this point.
Look, I view it as a strict biochemical necessity, but I will concede that the first sip of a perfectly balanced iced coffee is a profoundly spiritual experience.
Thank you. It resets the soul.
It resets the nervous system. It creates order from absolute chaos. Honestly, we should have a societal mandate. No major life decisions, no signing of binding contracts, and definitely no text messages to your exes should be executed until after the coffee has been completely consumed.
Oh, 100%. It's a matter of public safety.
It really is.
But speaking of questionable life choices, I have to expose the absolute disaster that happened before we even sat down at these microphones today.
Please do not do this.
Oh, I am doing it. So I'm sitting in the green room, and I find this gorgeous, slightly dusty, leather-bound notebook. I open it, and I realize it is your New Year's journal.
I am sweating.
I handed it over to you, and it turned into an impromptu, entirely chaotic journaling session right there on the couch.
Okay, wait, I need to defend myself here. Because looking at those January goals today, in the harsh, unforgiving light of a Wednesday morning, I mean, it is humiliating.
I was crying, laughing.
I was so wildly, aggressively optimistic. I wrote down a 12-step morning routine. 12 steps.
Who has the time?
Apparently, January me thought I did. I was going to conquer the world, learn conversational Italian, and somehow, meal prep roasted vegetables every single Sunday.
The roasted vegetables always get us.
They rot in the crisper drawer. Let the record show, I went through that beautifully bulleted list today, and I checked off exactly 3 things.
3 out of 40.
And one of those things was buy a new planner, which I only did so I could write the delusional list in the first place.
I was losing my mind watching you read it. It was a total spiral.
Listen, I have mutually decided with myself that simply surviving the week is a monumental accomplishment. Survived, check. The bar is literally on the floor.
The bar is in the basement.
Honestly, I am wondering if next year's journal should literally just consist of one blank page, and all it says in the center is, drink more water.
Yes. Just lower the expectations so drastically that any forward momentum is a triumph.
Exactly. Just hydrate and hope for the best.
Meanwhile, while that total breakdown of failed resolutions was happening, I took a completely different approach to the morning. I spent the entire morning sitting on the floor with my crystals.
Oh, the crystals.
Just me, some rose quartz, a heavy chunk of amethyst, trying to mentally and spiritually prepare my aura for the workday ahead.
But is it manifestation or is it just high-tier procrastination?
It is grounding.
Because if we look at the logistics, sitting perfectly still with a rock while you have 75 unread emails feels like you are just avoiding reality. Are you meditating or are you just hiding from your schedule?
It is energy work. Do not disrespect the quartz.
I'm just saying.
But honestly, Snark Squad, it is so wild that we are both literally dentists, doing the exact same profession, but our actual work days couldn't possibly look more different.
It's true. The contrast is jarring.
It really is.
I am looking at a schedule today that is grueling. Back-to-back appointments, complex procedures, consultations all day long. I am scheduled down to the literal minute. It is an absolute sprint from the moment I leave this studio.
And then there's me. I am cruising today.
Cruising.
I have exactly one single appointment today. One. And I have explicitly blocked out enough free time this afternoon to completely reorganize the entire front office Spotify playlist.
Wow.
Because the vibe has been off in the waiting room, and it requires my immediate, undivided attention.
Which collectively explains the overarching mystery of our lives, right?
Yeah.
Like why neither of us is currently living a billionaire lifestyle.
True.
One of us is hustling to the point of clinical burnout, and the other is curating the perfect lo-fi beats for a dental cleaning. The math is not mathing for a yacht in Saint-Tropez.
Okay, well, enough about our own chaos. Because the celebrity blogs have absolutely outdone themselves today.
They really have.
The timeline is an absolute disaster zone in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Let's get into the gossip.
Let's do it. Where are we starting this messy morning chat?
We are starting with the franchise that literally invented modern reality TV mess.
Yeah.
It is the blueprint. We are talking about Teen Mom.
Oh, the ultimate mess.
Because the legal and financial dumpster fires happening right now are actually breaking my brain. First up, Kailyn Lowry.
This is a layered one.
It is so layered. Kail is going on a podcast tour, and she has officially named it the Fatherless Behavior Tour.
Wow.
Which, first of all, I am reacting purely emotionally here. That is so dark, but honestly kind of an iconic, unhinged tour name.
It catches the attention.
But here is the real tea. Kail says she is absolutely not going to bash any of her 4 baby daddies on this tour because, get this, one of the dads allegedly tried to use photos from her last tour against her in court.
Let's break down the sheer absurdity of this logic. You name your massive cross-country event, the Fatherless Behavior Tour, but you publicly declare you won't mention the very men whose absence conceptually inspired the title. How exactly do you execute a 2-hour live show about fatherless behavior while entirely tiptoeing around the baby daddies? The hypocrisy is built right into the marquee.
She's saying they are structuring the entire set to not mention them at all, not even as a joke. But wait, explain this to me because I do not understand family court. How can a joke you make on a stage with a microphone actually be used against you in a custody battle? It's comedy.
That's a great question because it seems like free speech, right? You should be able to say whatever you want on a stage.
Exactly.
But family court operates under a completely different standard. They look at the best interest of the child. When a judge is determining custody or visitation, they look heavily at something called alienation of affection and public disparagement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if one parent is standing on a stage in front of thousands of paying fans and posting the photos online, mocking the other parent, a judge views that as actively fostering a toxic environment for the children.
That makes sense.
It proves an unwillingness to co-parent peacefully. So those tour photos of her mocking her exes, that is legally weaponized evidence of her character.
So she literally has to stay quiet or risk losing custody time.
Exactly.
But she also promised this tour would be, quote, even more unhinged and fun than the last one, where she literally had cutouts of the baby daddies' heads for crowd games. You cannot give us decapitated cardboard baby daddies one year and then give us nothing the next.
The background on the tour name is equally grim but fascinating from a branding perspective.
Oh, do tell.
Kail explained that her circle of friends and co-hosts basically realized they all share this exact trauma. She, Alessandra Gonzalez, Becky Hayter, Lindsay Chrisley, they all either have dead, estranged, or imprisoned fathers.
That is so dark.
Alessandra made the joke, and Kail just ran with it as a marketing strategy. It's basically a trauma bond turned into ticket sales.
And the chaos does not stop. Lindsay Chrisley was supposed to be on the tour, but she literally just dropped out because of a recent DUI arrest.
You cannot script this.
So the Fatherless Behavior Tour is already missing a co-host due to criminal behavior. It is too much.
But if we're looking at the justice system in the Teen Mom universe, we have to talk about the darkest timeline currently unfolding. David Eason.
Ugh, my heart literally sinks every time this man's name comes up.
It's heavy.
But I am so deeply relieved for Jace right now. It has been announced that a trial date has finally officially been set for August 24th for David's child abuse and assault by strangulation charges regarding Jenelle's son, Jace.
Looking at the timeline of the justice system here, it is completely appalling. This incident happened in September 2023. Jace was 14. We are looking at nearly 3 years of legal delays.
3 years.
The case has been reset 9 times. 9.
How does a case involving a minor get delayed 9 times? Is he just dodging the court?
It's a combination of court backlogs and a very specific financial collapse, which is incredibly telling and, frankly, hilarious in a very dark way.
I'll spill the financial tea because this is where Karma is doing her absolute best work.
So when David was first charged, Jenelle was paying for private attorneys. A private attorney can file motions to delay, request more discovery, basically buy time.
Right.
But they split in February 2024, and the money faucet shut off completely. Jenelle stopped paying the retainer.
Yeah, good for her.
So David had to crawl back to the court, declare himself indigent, and request a public defender.
Oh, my God.
Now, to be declared indigent, you can't just walk in and say, I'm broke. You have to submit sworn financial affidavits proving to the state that you lack the liquid assets to pay for basic life necessities, let alone a private defense. You are legally declaring poverty, and the judge granted it. He got a public defender.
I am screaming at the irony. The man who lived on the land, stockpiling weapons, acting like he was this sovereign, untouchable alpha male who didn't need society, having to publicly, legally declare that he is broke and needs the state government to defend him for allegedly strangling a teenager.
It's a spectacular fall from reality TV, Grace.
The karma is so thick. I am just so happy Jace is going to get his day in court. That boy deserves justice after 3 years of legal stalling.
Absolutely. The MTD money provided an illusion of power, and without it, the reality is stark. And this delusion around finances brings us perfectly to Mackenzie Douthit, because the logic happening here requires a serious breakdown.
Let's hear it.
Mackenzie is currently defending the fact that her ex-husband, Josh McKee, pays absolutely zero child support for their 3 children.
I am actively furious on behalf of these 3 kids. Gannon, Bronx, and Jaxie. How do you just let a man off the hook for 3 human beings he helped create?
Her defense is truly something to behold. Mackenzie says Josh doesn't work, can't even provide for himself, and lives with his mom.
Oh, so he's a scrub.
Exactly. She is married to Cathania Hall now, who has apparently stepped up financially, so she says she is just thankful for peace. Which, fine, peace is great.
Peace is lovely, but kids need to eat.
Right. But here is the piece of information that makes this a comedic tragedy. To avoid going to court over child support, Josh literally traded his financial obligation to his children for a Ford Explorer truck.
I need to take a sip of this iced coffee because my brain is rejecting this information.
Drink up.
He said, I won't pay child support. You keep the house. You keep the Ford Explorer. Just give me my truck. And she said, yes. Wait, legally, can you even do that? Can you just barter away your kids' financial rights for a used vehicle?
It is highly precarious legally. Parents can agree to modifications outside of court, but technically child support is considered the right of the child, not the parent.
That makes total sense.
A judge usually has to sign off on any, but let's just look at the math on this because it's insulting. You are trading the long-term financial well-being, the food, the clothing, the education of 3 growing children for a depreciating asset.
A used Ford Explorer.
The sheer audacity to think a piece of metal is an equitable trade for fatherhood is mind-blowing.
It is giving absolute deadbeat. And she claims the kids will figure out what kind of person he is one day. Dusty, they already know. It is documented on camera.
Yeah, they have the footage.
Casanio is doing the real work, and Josh is just driving around in a truck he effectively bought with his kids' lunch money. It is disgusting.
The financial literacy of this entire cast is practically non-existent, which brings us to the absolute pinnacle of financial disasters this morning. Ryan Edwards and his ex-wife, Mackenzie Standifer.
Oh, no.
Snark Squad. I need you to brace yourselves for this number. They currently have an open tax lien for nearly $300,000, specifically $291,812.48.
Almost $300,000. From the years 2018 and 2019. How do you even do that? That was literally the year after they got married. What were they buying?
I asked myself the exact same question. How do you rack up $300,000 in tax debt in a single year of reality TV? You're not filming a blockbuster Marvel movie. You're sitting on a beige couch talking about your ex.
Exactly.
But if we break down how reality TV stars are actually paid, the math starts to make a very depressing kind of sense.
Break it down, because I need to understand how you fumble the bag this badly.
Reality TV stars are not traditional employees. They don't get W-2s where the employer magically takes out the taxes, Medicare, and Social Security before the check hits their bank account. They are paid as 2099 independent contractors.
Right, okay.
This means if MTV agrees to pay Ryan $300,000 for a season, MTV cuts him a check for exactly $300,000.
And it feels like you just won the lottery. You see that massive number in your checking account and you think you're rich.
Exactly. But the IRS expects you to actively set aside 30 to 40% of that money and pay it in quarterly estimated taxes.
Which they obviously didn't do.
If you buy boats and trucks and fund a massive wedding instead, the IRS doesn't just forget. They audit you, they hit you with massive failure to pay penalties, interest compounds daily, and eventually they issue a tax lien.
Wait, what does a tax lien actually mean for them right now? Can they just ignore it?
Absolutely not. A tax lien is a legal claim by the government against your property. It means the IRS legally owns a piece of everything you have.
Ouch.
If you try to sell your house, the IRS takes the first $300,000. It destroys your credit score, making it impossible to get a car loan or a mortgage. And the worst part for Ryan, his income has completely evaporated, so he has no way to dig out of this hole.
Evaporated. Gone.
We have the court documents from Ryan's recent custody case. In February 2025, when they were still filming MTV's Next Chapter, Ryan was pulling in about $16,000 a month.
Which is incredibly solid.
It is. But then the MTV cameras went down. His contract wasn't renewed. His income plummeted to $4,200 a month working as a mechanic.
Oh my God.
Because of this massive drop, he went to the judge and got his monthly child support to Mackenzie Standifer lowered from $1,553 down to a measly $613 for 2 kids.
While his new wife, Amanda Connor, is out here getting a DUI, the chaos is so layered, it's a dip.
It really is a dip.
You have a massive tax lien from the federal government breathing down your neck. Your reality TV checks are gone. Your new wife is getting arrested. You're paying $600 for 2 growing children, and you still owe the local courts thousands of dollars for your own harassment and DUI cases from 2023. It is a generational curse of terrible decision-making.
It's a masterclass in how not to transition from reality TV fame to the real world. They spent MTV money like it was a lifetime pension, and now they are quite literally paying the ultimate price.
My blood pressure is entirely too high from the teen mom dads. We need to look at a different kind of mess. Let's talk about the absolute illusion of boundaries.
Let's do it.
Because when reality stars lose their grip on reality, they lose their grip on physical boundaries too.
Yeah.
We are moving to Love Island, where the real-world fallout is genuinely terrifying.
This story is the definition of unhinged behavior. We are talking about Love Island USA's Huda Mustafa.
Yes.
TMZ just dropped a video of her that is genuinely hard to watch because of the sheer secondhand embarrassment and the legal implications. Huda was caught on camera literally ducking under a security gate to sneak into the apartment garage of Nicole Oliveira.
I gasped. I watched the video in my kitchen and I loudly gasped. Let's give the Snark Squad the context. Nicole Oliveira is the baby mama of Huda's ex-boyfriend, Louis Russell. Nicole currently has an active temporary restraining order against Huda. She filed it, citing that Huda was making terrifying suicide threats, threatening Nicole's young son and knocking on her doors at all hours. And there is Huda on Ring camera video ducking under the metal security gate while casually talking on her cell phone.
It is legally baffling. Let's explain what a temporary restraining order, or a TRO, actually requires. It is a strict mandate from a judge. It usually includes a 100-yard stay-away order. You cannot go near their home, their workplace, or their child's school.
You literally have to stay away.
Exactly. It also includes an absolute ban on direct or indirect communication. So sneaking into her secure parking garage, that is not just a mistake. That is criminal contempt of a court order. You can be arrested on the spot for that.
And she should be.
But it gets worse. When TMZ leaked the video, Huda actually went into the Instagram comments to respond.
Which is the #1 rule of being in legal trouble. Shut up. Close the app.
Exactly. Any lawyer would tell you to go completely silent. Instead of taking accountability or apologizing, she tried to throw shade.
She wrote, quote, "I'm glad y'all blessed her with that $50K she needed so badly. Peace and love everyone." The audacity to use the peace sign emoji while violating a restraining order.
I am judging her deeply. You are violating a legal protective order on camera, and your primary concern is accusing the victim of cashing a $50,000 check from TMZ.
Make it make sense.
You should be worrying about potential jail time, not paparazzi payouts. Deflecting by insulting someone's finances while you are actively stalking them is a wild PR strategy. It shows a complete disconnect from reality.
She needs help, like genuine, offline, sit in a quiet room without wifey help. But the disconnect from reality makes sense when you look at the environment these shows create. Can we talk about what is happening inside the Love Island USA villa right now?
Oh, the challenges.
Because the producer manipulation has officially lost the plot. They have demolished all physical boundaries for these contestants.
You're talking about the challenge fans are calling the sex Hunger Games.
Yes. They brought a giant, oversized bed into the garden. They took all the boys, and they physically handcuffed them to the headboard. Then they took the girls, blindfolded them, and told them they had to find their specific partner purely by feeling around in the dark.
If you break down the logistics of this challenge, it is a human resources nightmare. You have blindfolded people crawling over handcuffed people. They were using colored paint to mark their territory, and then the girls had to handcuff themselves to whoever they thought was their guy. It looked like absolute, uncoordinated mayhem.
It crossed the line from a cheeky reality TV challenge into just straight-up uncomfortable viewing.
Yeah.
My jaw was on the floor. Felt like I was watching something deeply inappropriate.
It felt very weird.
Reality TV used to be about, like, eating a gross bug or answering trivia questions about your partner's favorite color. Now you're blindfolded and chained to a mattress in Fiji. Why are they doing this?
The evolution of the reality TV challenge is a fascinating sociological study. Producers are dealing with a TikTok-brained audience. Our attention spans are non-existent, and we are completely desensitized to standard drama.
It's so true.
Two people arguing by a pool doesn't trend anymore. They have to constantly escalate the physical and psychological shock value just to get a reaction. But yes, psychotic is probably the most accurate descriptor viewers used online for this specific stunt.
Absolutely psychotic. Okay, let's leave the island and head into the absolute crown jewel of messy television, the Bravo cinematic universe.
Yes, the drama is always good there.
Because over at Bravo, we are seeing a master class in power dynamics. Everyone is either getting fired, getting divorced, or point-blank refusing to film. Let's start in Jersey. Real Housewives of New Jersey. Frank Catania Sr. is reportedly out.
This is a massive shift for the ecosystem of that show. The reports are saying Frank is not filming season 15, and the alleged reason is that Teresa Giudice explicitly demanded he be cut.
I am emotionally mourning the loss of Frank on my screen. He was the voice of reason. He was the fun ex-husband. My heart is actually broken. Why is Teresa doing this to us? Does she actually have the power to just fire someone?
He doesn't sign the checks, but she absolutely has the leverage. Let's trace the causality here, because Teresa never acts without a grudge. This all stems from the season 13 and 14 drama.
Right.
Frank was the one who brought up the incredibly messy situation involving Luis Ruelas, Teresa's husband, and Bo Dietl, the private investigator Luis allegedly hired to look into the rest of the cast. Frank also brought up the very sketchy details about his son, Frankie Jr.'s job with Luis. Teresa views this as an unforgivable attack on her love bubble.
Teresa's love bubble is made of reinforced steel and pure paranoia.
Exactly. And in the Bravo universe, an OG like Teresa has immense power. She can simply refuse to film with someone. If she tells producers, if Frank walks into this party, I take my mic off and leave, the producers have to make a choice.
And they always choose the star.
Do we want our star, or do we want the secondary ex-husband character? They will always protect the star. Teresa froze him out.
It is so manipulative.
Yeah.
But what is driving me absolutely insane is Dolores. Dolores Catania is Frank's ex-wife. They have this beautiful modern family. They share dogs, yet she is still sticking by Teresa through all of this.
It's strange.
Teresa literally just had the father of your children fired from his main source of public income, and you are still defending her.
It is a bizarre display of loyalty. I am judging Dolores' strategy here. She has historically played the middle, Switzerland of New Jersey.
Yeah.
But aligning with Teresa, when Teresa is actively silencing the father of your children to protect a very questionable narrative about Luis, I mean, it doesn't track logically.
Not at all.
It proves Teresa has an immense power play going on behind the scenes. Dolores is protecting her own apple, her own paycheck, by staying on Teresa's good side, even if it costs Frank his job.
It is dark-sided. But moving from Jersey to Beverly Hills, the shade is alive and well, and the contract negotiations are happening in public. Dorit Kemsley is out here communicating purely through Instagram likes.
The most passive-aggressive form of modern communication.
Truly. So Dorit went and liked a fan post that was absolutely dragging Kyle Richards. The post called Kyle a hypocrite for hiding her alleged romance with country singer Morgan Wade, while historically demanding absolute honesty and transparency from the rest of the cast.
That is a very specific like.
Specifically, the post brought up how Kyle invited Brandi Glanville over just to ambush and out Denise Richards a few seasons ago.
The internet never forgets. And the fan post makes a highly valid point. Kyle's tenure on the show has been defined by the phrase, just be honest. She used it as a weapon to destroy other women's secrets.
Yes, she did.
Now, when her own life gets complicated, she demands privacy, gets defensive, and refuses to label the Morgan Wade situation. Dorit liking that post is a direct, calculated shot at her former best friend.
Dorit is messy, and I love it, but Dorit is also playing games with the press right now. She gave an interview saying she is unsure if she's going to return for season 16 because she wants to focus on her new memoir, Unburdened. Do we actually believe she is walking away from Bravo to write a book?
Absolutely not. Let me translate that PR speak for the Snark squad. When a housewife goes to the press and says she is unsure about returning to focus on her family or a book, what she is actually saying is, I am currently locked in aggressive contract negotiations with Bravo for a higher per episode rate, and I'm using this press tour as leverage.
Bingo.
You do not walk away from the Bravo television platform when you have a book to sell. The show is a multi-million-dollar commercial for the book.
You read her for absolute filth, and you are 100% correct. She feuded with Erica Jane and the newbie Amanda Francis last season. She is fighting for her life on that cast. She needs that diamond to stay relevant.
Oh, she definitely does.
Okay, moving to Atlanta. RHOA is back, and Drew Sidora was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, and the clapbacks were lethal.
Drew came ready with the index cards of reads. She went after everyone.
She called the newbie, K. Michelle, performative for storming off during a charity event where Drew was singing the national anthem.
Yeah.
She said Shemea's husband, Gerald, having a rule that Shemea is not allowed to kiss actors on screen is a massive red flag.
Fair.
She defended working with Portia's ex, Dennis McKinley. But the insult that I will be thinking about for the rest of my natural life, she stood by calling Kelly Farrell a stuffed Cornish hen ready for basting.
It is so hyper-specific and visually jarring.
I live for it, a stuffed Cornish hen. It's giving holiday cooking, it's giving small portions. It is a devastatingly creative read. But then fans are coming for Drew online because they noticed she only had 3 confessional looks this entire season.
Oh, the fashion police?
They were calling her broke, saying she had no fashion budget. And Drew had to clap back on Twitter saying, I filmed them all at once. Can you explain why fans get so obsessed with the outfits?
The fans show a complete lack of understanding of reality TV production here. I am judging the audience on this one. If we break down the logistics of filming a confessional, production has to rent a soundstage or a hotel suite.
Right.
They have to set up professional lighting, hire hair makeup teams, and bring the housewives in for a grueling 10 to 12-hour day to bulk film commentary for 5 or 6 episodes at once.
So they aren't just sitting down every week after an event.
No, the months of reactions in a single day. Having 3 distinct looks across an entire season is completely standard industry practice.
That makes so much sense.
Changing outfits, hair, and makeup 15 times to give the illusion of different days is an expensive logistical nightmare that ruins continuity. It's not a budget issue for Drew, it's a scheduling reality for the crew.
Thank you. Stop calling these women broke just because they understand a production schedule.
Yeah.
But the mess in Atlanta is nothing compared to the absolute frostbite happening in Salt Lake City. RHOSLC.
Oh, the snow is cold there.
Bronwyn Newport and Lisa Barlow are demonstrating how to fight for narrative control.
This is a masterclass in swift public retaliation.
So Bronwyn is going through this massive divorce storyline with her husband, Todd Bradley. She posts this seemingly innocent, highly reflective photo on her Instagram story about running into Todd, catching up, laughing, giving each other advice.
Very curated.
She said it was a glimpse of the friendship she hopes they can have post-divorce. Very amicable, very sweet, very Gwyneth Paltrow conscious uncoupling.
And Lisa Barlow looked at that sweetness and chose absolute violence.
She did.
Lisa immediately jumped online and shaded Bronwyn, telling fans they need to go get the real story from Bronwyn's model boyfriend, Brandon Good, because, quote, Bronwyn lies.
Bronwyn lies. Lisa Barlow does not hesitate. She didn't let Bronwyn have peace for even 5 minutes. Why can't she just let her have a nice moment?
Because it's the hallmark of a top-tier housewife. Lisa understands the assignment of reality TV warfare. If your co-star is trying to produce a soft, sympathetic narrative about her divorce to win over the audience, you immediately introduce the messy element, the model boyfriend, to fracture that narrative.
It is brilliant, honestly.
Lisa is making sure the audience knows Bronwyn is spinning the truth. It is highly calculated.
I am obsessed with the Salt Lake City women. They are ruthless. But let's go to the newest franchise, Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Because Rula Pontarelli is fighting for her life right now, and the delusion is real.
The mistress video.
Yes, a literal video of Rula's husband, Brian, with his alleged mistress, who the blogs are saying is Beth Walker. The cast members, Rosie DeMare and Alicia Carmody, actually brought this video to Rula's Arabian Nights-themed party to confront her.
Incredible timing.
And Rula just shut it down. She called the video bullshit and completely killed the vibe of her own party.
Analyzing Rule's defense mechanism here. I mean, she literally just came out of the hospital. She is hosting a massive themed event, and her co-stars decide this is the appropriate venue to present video evidence of infidelity. I have to judge Rosie and Leisha's timing. It's entirely tactless.
Beyond tactless.
But Rula calling it bullshit when there is a date stamp on the footage. That is textbook denial. She is trying to protect the facade of her marriage in front of the cameras at all costs.
It's so sad, but also it's Rhode Island. The accents, the drama, the Arabian Nights theme while your marriage crumbles, it is peak Bravo. And speaking of Bravo casting, Andy Cohen made some really interesting comments this week at the Newport Beach TV Fest.
He was asked about casting a transgender housewife.
Right, and he said he is completely open to it, but he instituted a very specific and I think highly logical condition. He said it cannot be a stunt. The woman has to be organically, authentically friends with the existing cast members.
Which I completely agree with. We have seen what happens when Bravo just drops a random woman into a friend group for diversity or shock value. It never works.
It feels forced and it ruins the dynamic.
Exactly. The show thrives when these women actually know each other's dark secrets before the cameras even roll. Andy mentioned they have successfully had LGBTQ plus wives before, like Bronwyn, Julie Lemigova, Jenna Lyons, Raquel Chevremont, but it has to be authentic.
Stunt casting is the death knell of reality TV. If you bring someone in just to check a demographic box, you leave them on an island with women who don't know them, and the conflict feels manufactured. If a transgender woman has legitimate, messy, decades-long history with the women of New York or Beverly Hills, cast her tomorrow. But the history has to be there for the show to work.
Perfectly said.
Speaking of casting decisions, I want to talk about failing upwards. Because we need to look at the absolute best thing that can ever happen to a Bravo star. It's not getting a wedding special. It's not getting a spin-off show. It is getting fired. We are looking at Summer House and the phenomenon of Hannah Berner.
The ultimate success story born out of Bravo rejection. Hannah went on Dax Shepard's podcast and laid it all out. She was fired from Summer House and her talk show chat room in 2021. And she said that getting fired was the exact catalyst for her star power.
I am celebrating Hannah so hard right now. She said, being told she was too much for reality TV put a massive chip on her shoulder. She channeled that anger, that addict mentality of doing stand-up comedy every single night in small clubs, and she hustled her way into getting 2 Netflix specials. 2.
I have to sarcastically applaud Bravo here. By firing her and telling her she didn't fit their specific mold of petty housemate drama, they accidentally executed the greatest PR strategy of her life.
They truly did.
They freed her. She correctly noted that nobody in reality TV gets a Netflix stand-up special. Reality stars usually pivot to selling hair gummies or starting a generic podcast. She broke the mold entirely and became an actual entertainer.
It's inspiring. But while Hannah is out here thriving on Netflix, her former castmates are fighting for their lives in the comment sections. Wes Wilson is currently defending his absolutely messy romance and subsequent fallout with Amanda Batula.
And his defense is one of the most logically flawed arguments I have ever heard a grown man make on a microphone.
Snark Squad, listen to this logic. People are accusing West of being a clout chaser for dating Amanda, right? Because she's a fan favorite. And West goes on his podcast and says, if I was calculated and wanted clout, I wouldn't have dated Amanda. I would have just dated Ciara Miller.
The sheer audacity of that statement. Let me break down why this is the worst possible defense strategy. He is attempting to prove he is a genuine good guy who isn't using women for fame by hypothetically stating he would have used a different, more famous woman for fame if that was his goal.
It is so dumb.
Saying, I'm not a clout chaser because if I was, I'd manipulate Ciara instead of Amanda is not the flex you think it is, Wes.
I am outraged. He literally implicated another woman just to save his own skin. It is so gross. He is basically saying Ciara has more clout, and he could have had her if he wanted, but he generously chose Amanda, so we should all be grateful. Men are exhausting.
It completely validates the exact criticism he's trying to dodge. He is proving he looks at these women purely as rungs on a social ladder. He is ranking their clout value out loud.
And the craziest part of this entire Summer House saga is who is actually paying attention to it. Reality TV has officially penetrated the highest levels of American pop culture and politics. Yeah. Jack Schlossberg has entered the chat.
Yes, the grandson of John F. Kennedy. A man from an actual historical American political dynasty who is currently running for Congress.
And we are looking at this purely from a pop culture perspective. Snark Squad. We do not care about his policies right now. We care about his television viewing habits. Jack went on Andy Cohen's radio show and literally started giving hot takes on Wes and Amanda.
It is
He
wild.
said the lack of remorse from them was shocking. A Kennedy is analyzing summer house hookups.
The cultural crossover is fascinating. And again, maintaining strict neutrality here, just looking at the media landscape. He even joked about creating a show called Summer House of Representatives.
I would watch it.
It just proves that Bravo is the great unifier. You can be a legacy politician running for a congressional seat, and you are still agonizing over who is kissing who in the Hamptons on a Tuesday night. Reality TV has replaced the traditional soap opera.
It is the simulation glitching. But while one politician is watching reality TV, we have a reality TV star actively trying to become a politician. Let's head to the West Coast. Spencer Pratt.
The Crystal King himself.
Spencer Pratt literally ran for mayor of Los Angeles. And Heather Dubrow from RHOC had initially supported him, but now she is heavily backtracking. She went on her podcast and called Spencer a baby.
And let's look at the reasoning behind her withdrawing her support. It wasn't because of his tax policies or zoning laws. Heather pulled her support because Spencer admitted his primary motivation for running for a major municipal office was to secure a television pilot.
Oh my.
He wanted a reality show about him cleaning up LA if he won.
I cannot handle the delusion. The utter absurdity of trying to govern millions of people dealing with infrastructure and budgets just to get a sizzle reel for the E! Network. And Heather told him, if you actually cared about Los Angeles, you wouldn't need camera crews following you to City Hall.
He has a point.
And when he lost, he said he was just going to pack up and leave L.A. entirely, which is why she called him a baby.
It is the ultimate manifestation of main character syndrome. Running a major American city is not a storyline for season 1 of a reality reboot. I am judging the sheer vanity of the endeavor. But speaking of Heather Dubrow, we need to talk about her husband, Dr. Terry Dubrow, and the absolute chokehold GLP-1 medications currently have on Hollywood.
Yes. Dr. Terry was on a podcast debunking all the myths about Ozempic and Mounjaro, because everyone is terrified of the side effects, but Terry is out here calling it a miracle. He said it is not dangerous to the gallbladder, and he actually called it the ultimate anti-aging drug that is going to help with Alzheimer's and addiction disorders by controlling inflammation.
It is a massive medical shift.
But wait, how does a weight loss drug help with addiction?
That is where the science gets really interesting. These GLP-1 medications are peptides. They mimic a hormone in your body that naturally tells your brain you are full. It slows down gastric emptying so food stays in your stomach longer.
Right.
But what scientists are finding is that the exact same receptors in the brain that control food noise and cravings also overlap with the pathways that control addiction. So by quieting the urge to overeat, it is simultaneously quieting the urge to drink alcohol or use other addictive substances.
That is actually incredible. It's shifting the entire narrative. And what was truly fascinating was Heather's contribution to the conversation. She compared the safety profile of these new scientific drugs against the standard diet culture we grew up with in the 1990s.
And she makes an incredibly valid point.
I unravels when she said this. It unlocked so much trauma. She said, when I was in high school, I smoked cigarettes, I drank Diet Coke, and took Dexatrim. And she asked, how is anyone pretending that taking a prescribed, heavily researched peptide is more dangerous than what women were surviving in the 90s?
The 90s and early 2000s diet culture was essentially unregulated chaos.
Yeah.
Dexatrim, ephedra, extreme starvation diets. We normalized incredibly dangerous, heart-palpitating behaviors. Terry's point is that medical science has evolved, and the moral panic around these GLP-1 injections is often rooted in a puritanical belief that weight loss must involve suffering. People are mad that it's easy rather than evaluating the actual clinical data of the medication.
Exactly. The trauma of low-rise jeans, Diet Coke, and passing out in gym class is real.
Yeah.
Let's leave that trauma behind and hit the high seas for a quick palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
Below Deck Med just premiered, and it is already a disaster. Captain Sandy hasn't even unpacked her bags, and she literally hit the dock.
Mm-hmm. A catastrophic start to season 11. Sandy hits the dock, and it was entirely due to a communication error with bosun Nathan Gallagher. Nathan was unraveling, terrified he was going to be fired immediately. And Sandy gave him this piece of leadership advice that is actually quite profound. She said, don't linger on the mistakes.
Correct the mistake and be better tomorrow. I love Sandy for that. And the chief stew this season is Aisha Scott, who is an absolute icon. And she is having this beautiful full-circle moment because Hannah Ferrier, the legendary original chief stew who was fired seasons ago, is actually making an appearance this season. Aisha said Hannah was her introduction to the show, and having her back is surreal.
It's incredibly smart producing. Bringing back legacy cast members bridges the gap for longtime viewers and creates instant, built-in nostalgia. But let's wrap up this massive gossip recap with something actually genuinely positive. A happy ending in reality TV, which is statistically as rare as a unicorn.
So rare. Jake Pavelka, the star of The Bachelor Season 14, the pilot, he's officially a married man. He finally got married to his fiancée Amy at the Tuscan Rose Ranch in California.
And here is the sarcastic yet beautiful irony of this entire story. Jake went on national television. He flew helicopters, he handed out roses on cliff sides, he cried on camera, he went through the entire manufactured, highly produced Bachelor machine to find love, and it failed miserably. How did he actually meet his wife?
He swiped right on Bumble.
Exactly. After all the TV tears, the limousines, and the Chris Harrison dramatic pauses, a basic algorithm on a dating app is what actually worked. They had a 6-hour first date from Bumble. It just proves that you cannot heavily produce genuine human connection.
It is the perfect ending. Love is real, you just have to look on your phone instead of the ABC network. My iced coffee is entirely gone, my crystals are fully charged, and my brain is swimming in an ocean of gossip.
But before we sign off, I want to pose a final, somewhat provocative thought for the Snark squad to mull over. We talked about Jack Schlossberg analyzing summer house hookups and Spencer Pratt actively running for mayor of Los Angeles. If we connect this to the bigger picture, is reality TV becoming the new, bizarre training ground for American politics? Are we entering an era where you don't need a law degree or community organizing experience to govern? You just need to know how to produce a good confessional, build an audience, and secure a television pilot. It's a terrifying yet fascinating shift in how we view leadership and entertainment.
I am losing my mind at that thought. A Real Housewife in the Oval Office is probably coming by 2032. Snark Squad babes, we need to know your thoughts on everything we talked about today. You know the drill, we have our required questions for the group chat. First, are you drinking coffee or tea right now? Second, are you out here journaling your goals, manifesting with crystals, or are you just barely surviving the week like the rest of us? And finally, which celebrity story had you reeling the absolute most today? Was it the teen mom tax lien or the Love Island handcuffs?
Let us know in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening and unpacking this absolute mess with us today. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with another snarker who needs their morning fix.
Stay caffeinated.
Stay messy.
And we'll see you on the snark side.